Homosexuality is a crime in 38 African countries, and new laws in Nigeria and Uganda have increased potential punishments for those charged.
To escape persecution, some gay and transgender Africans have come to the United States to seek asylum. For those from Uganda, fleeing their country is a matter of life and death.
VOA's Carla Babb talked with me about her coverage of this issue and two transgender Ugandans she met and interviewed here. As she reports, both are very afraid to go back home. So Carla, your story focused on Uganda's persecution of gays and those who have escaped from Uganda to come to the United States. How bad is it in Uganda?
It's really, for some people, a life and death situation. If you're convicted of aggregated or repeated homosexuality, you can be sentenced to life in prison, all the way to if you're in a Muslim community like Nikki Mwanda was in, the punishment is death by stoning there. So it's a scary situation, and it's one that a lot of people need to get out of.
I can tell you that it's so bad in Uganda. People just don't know what is happening in Uganda.
Nikki Mwanda recently fled his African homeland. He is transgender.
I'm worried about what is happening to my people. But I'm also scared that when I go back, I don't know what will happen to me.
Death threats and police brutality were among the horrors transgender Ugandan Victor Mukasa faced before gaining asylum in the United States less than a year ago.
I have had people lay their hands, men lay their hands on my genitals, chasing the spirit of homosexuality out of me. When you hear the story of people waging war against a particular group of people, this is no different.
And these anti-gay sentiments that we see, not just in Uganda, but across Africa as a continent, what's at the root of this? Is it religion? Why are people having such hatred for homosexuality?
Religion is a big part of it. There's evangelical Christians on one side that don't think that homosexuality should be legal. There are Muslims on the other side, extreme Muslim groups that think that homosexuality should be illegal. And it's also a big push with nationalism, because there's a lot of things going on in Uganda. There are a lot of poor people. There are a lot of corruption, accusations, and some people, including Professor Stephen Taylor, who I spoke with here at American University, say that it's a good way to distract Ugandans from a lot of the problems that are at home.
And another interesting aspect of those sensitivities is even how you refer to the interview subjects in your story, because they are both transgender. So they started out, they were born as women, and then they're now living as men.
Well, they were both born in Uganda as women, but neither one of them felt that being a female was really the right classification for them. And so they both chose to become transgender, and they refer to themselves as he, and so I refer to them as he.
One person that you featured, Victor, he now does have asylum, but this process is not an easy process at all.
Not at all. It's very difficult. He had to wait months and months and months to find out if he could be safe here. The asylum rate here is about a little better than 50%. In the United States, that's the latest statistics. So that's a good sign. But waiting to find out if you're going to be one of those 50-some% is a very scary ordeal. And while you're fearful for that, you have no way to support yourself, because asylum seekers in the United States aren't authorized to work. So he had to rely on friends to have a place to stay, to have food to eat. He said, "You're giving us the opportunity to be safe, but please give us the opportunity to provide for ourselves while we're waiting."
What struck you most doing this report about the two people you featured, Nikki and Victor, and their stories?
Definitely the strength of both of them, to be able to tell their story. Because, first of all, the natural instinct to protect yourself is to hide, to cover up who you are, or to stay in the shadows. And both of them were out front and center for years in Uganda before coming to the United States, and Victor still has made it his mission to make sure he gets this out there, and he's willing to step up and talk to people, even when it is about painful memories of his life and painful things in the future, being without his daughter. And Nikki is the same way. It was really hard because it's really fresh for Nikki. He just came here. He has all of those friends back home. But he still said, I'm strong enough to do this, and I want to be an example for others who are in my position.
Uganda's new anti-gay legislation is among the harshest in Africa, and it has come at a cost. The World Bank and other donors have withheld more than $118 million worth of aid and loans to Uganda, causing the country's currency to fall.